One elderly woman vanishes from her home. The doorbell camera shows a man nobody recognizes. DNA evidence hints at two people. And yet, the prime suspect remains silent, almost invisible. Who else could be involved? And why does everything point to a second accomplice? Today, we dive into the tangled web behind this shocking crime. Meet Dominic Evans, a man with a criminal history spanning burglary, theft, and armed robbery. He lives just a few miles from the crime scene in Tucson. Physical descriptions from witnesses and doorbell footage match. Height, build, even a distinct wrist tattoo. Evans is connected to the main suspect, Tommaso Cioni, through a long history. They were bandmates, traveling and performing together for years. This friendship is key. It gives trust, opportunity, and a reason to coordinate. Evans' record shows he knows how to plan entries, confront risks, and execute risky operations. Someone with his experience would be capable of handling a high-stakes abduction, especially of a vulnerable victim. Let's break down the evidence. 2 DNA profiles were found, one in the victim's home, 1 mile away. Cell tower data shows suspicious movement around the neighborhood. Witnesses report seeing a man lurking, someone who wasn't part of the victim's routine. The abduction appears meticulously planned. 2 roles seem to exist. The planner, Tommaso Cioni, orchestrates routines, logistics, and timing. The executor, possibly Dominic Evans, handles entry, control, and on-site execution. This architect plus operative pattern explains how the crime could be executed efficiently, avoiding cameras and leaving minimal traces. On the night of the abduction, security cameras show a man entering the property with surprising ease. DNA evidence confirms presence of 2 individuals, suggesting coordinated effort. Evans' movements form a triangle around the victim's home, making discreet observation possible. Rural areas nearby offered escape routes and temporary hiding spots. Coordinating the victim's movement likely required more than one person, someone watching outside while the other acted inside. Interestingly, some details in media reports are false. Gloves were nitrile, not latex, showing careful planning rather than sloppy crime. Why does Evans stay quiet? Long-term friendship with Tommaso Cioni could explain coordinated secrecy. Criminal experience makes him aware of risk and surveillance. Remaining invisible may be a strategy to avoid exposure while the investigation unfolds. Every detail now fits. DNA, doorbell footage, witness reports, and criminal history all point to a 2-person execution. Investigators are exploring gun purchases linked to the suspects, home surveillance inconsistencies, social connections hinting at insider knowledge. Ransom-style emails suggest someone else was in the know. Could the network be slightly larger than initially believed? Long-term coordination and careful planning point to premeditation, not a random crime of opportunity. The FBI is methodically reviewing genealogical DNA results to confirm family connections, phone data for location triangulation, criminal records to map potential accomplices. Reports claiming SWAT involvement of Evans are false. This emphasizes how media narratives can mislead, but forensic evidence remains precise. The case now hinges on a combination of DNA evidence, digital footprints, and witness corroboration. The theory of planner plus executor could finally explain the crime in full. Tommaso Cioni organizes. Dominic Evans executes. The duo's long-term friendship and shared trust may have allowed them to stay ahead of investigators, at least until now. While speculation fills headlines, the FBI continues its methodical work. One tip, one overlooked piece of evidence, could bring both individuals into the light. Stay alert. This case is far from closed, and the next breakthrough might change everything. But let's dig deeper into the logistics that make the planner plus executor theory compelling. Consider the timing of events. Nancy Guthrie was dropped off at her home by Tommaso Cioni earlier that evening. Approximately 4 hours later, the doorbell camera captures an unknown man approaching. That window is not random. It's calculated. It aligns with what an experienced operative like Dominic Evans would need. Enough time for the planner to confirm routines, ensure no unexpected visitors, and secure the environment. Now consider the physical barriers at the property. The front gate and door should have slowed any intruder. Yet the footage shows the suspect moving through the space as if it were cleared in advance. This points to insider knowledge. Someone familiar with the property's layout and the habits of its occupants. Someone who had been there hours before and knew exactly what needed to be left accessible. Evans' presence in the area is another piece of the puzzle. His residences and known locations form a triangle around Nancy's home, providing multiple vantage points for surveillance. From these positions, he could monitor traffic, observe neighbors, and track patrol patterns, all without being noticed. Combine that with the nearby rural areas like Rio Rico, which provide escape routes and potential temporary hiding spots, and the operational planning begins to make sense. A single individual could not manage all these variables alone. The evidence also includes the 2 DNA profiles, one from inside Nancy's home and another miles away. This is not a minor detail. It confirms multiple actors were present. Coordinating the removal of an 84-year-old woman with mobility limitations requires not only physical effort, but timing, planning, and oversight. One person moves, the other observes, and together they minimize exposure. Let's expand on the idea of premeditation. The gloves found near the scene were nitrile, not latex, and the suspect's clothing, backpack, and even the holster indicate deliberate choices. This was not a spontaneous act. Every detail, from the materials used to the routes taken, suggests someone who has executed operations in the past. Dominic Evans' criminal history aligns with this profile: burglary, robbery, theft, and embezzlement. Each crime teaches practical skills, entry techniques, controlling victims, risk assessment, and operational patience. These are skills that persist over time, ingrained into behavior. Consider the relationship between Tommaso and Evans. 19 years of friendship built through music, shared tours, and life experiences. This is not casual. It is deep, trusted, and intimate. When the planner knows they can rely on the operative without hesitation, the coordination required for a complex abduction becomes feasible. Shared trust can be the most overlooked element in understanding criminal collaboration. The accomplice theory also explains discrepancies in public reports. Witnesses noticed subtle differences in the doorbell footage, variations in posture, build, and equipment. Analysts speculate this could indicate 2 separate individuals appearing at different times, reinforcing the 2 DNA profile finding. One person disables the camera, surveys the scene, or waits outside. The other enters, controls the victim, and executes the operation. Cell tower data provides another layer of evidence. If investigators overlay movements from January 23rd, when a dry run was captured, with February 1st, any recurring devices would highlight patterns. 2 phones moving in sync or showing proximity to the crime scene and rehearsal site suggest a coordinated plan. These digital breadcrumbs can be as revealing as DNA in connecting individuals to specific actions. Now, let's address the broader implications. Ransom-style emails received by media outlets indicate someone in the know, someone aware of the hierarchy of individuals involved. The language used, referring to the main individual, implies multiple participants and a structured operation. It reinforces the idea that while Tommaso may orchestrate, Evans or others could act on the ground, handling logistics or observing critical details. Social connections matter too. Evans' long-term association with Tommaso provided him insight into the Guthrie family. He would be aware of routines, vulnerabilities, and the neighborhood layout, not because he surveilled maliciously for years, but because proximity and friendship made that knowledge second nature. This gives context to how a crime could be executed with precision, Yet without immediate suspicion, investigators continue to analyze every angle. Gun store records for the holster, visible in footage. Walmart purchase records for the Ozark Trail backpack. Additional home surveillance footage and potential digital footprints. Genealogical DNA analysis, linking profiles to family trees. Expanding investigative avenues beyond traditional databases. The significance of two separate DNA profiles cannot be overstated. One alone would imply a single perpetrator, a scenario easier to obscure. Two profiles exponentially increase the chances of identification through kinship and genealogy. It also aligns with the behavioral and logistical evidence. Two individuals, coordinated, covering multiple operational tasks simultaneously. Evans' continued silence now appears strategic. In an age where a single social media post can expose location and activity, abstaining from public interaction reduces risk. For someone experienced in high-stakes criminal activity, awareness of surveillance and exposure is instinctive. Coordinated silence between two individuals further points to shared knowledge and trust. In conclusion, every piece fits together. The DNA, the doorbell footage, witness accounts, geographic proximity, criminal history, and long-term relationships. The planner plus executor theory not only explains how the abduction was possible, but why it could be conducted with such efficiency and discretion. Tommaso Cioni provides strategy, access, and familiarity. Dominic Evans offers experience, execution skills, and operational capacity. Together, they form a pattern that aligns with every observable detail. While law enforcement continues its methodical work, one overlooked tip, one overlooked digital trace, or one unexpected genealogical match could bring the case into sharp relief. This investigation is far from over, but the pieces now point to a network, a plan, and the critical roles played by both a planner and an executor. Two DNA profiles, one hidden network, and the coordinated effort behind a crime that shocked a community and puzzled investigators. For deeper investigations, hidden details, and the truth behind the headlines, subscribe to America Depth Report and stay with us as we uncover what others miss.